Thank you very much, Mr. Ubehi. I am Dr. Anigelaji Bunyamin Salahudeen, a senior lecturer in the Department of Civil Engineering, University of Jos. Apart from being a lecturer, I'm a consultant with, as in part-time, which is allowed in our teaching profession, with some consulting engineering firms here in the northern part of Nigeria.
So, of course, today we are going to be looking at a building collapse in Nigeria, and of course, from the point of view of geotechnical perspective. And I'm also going to be asking you something relating to building architecture and civil engineering in Nigeria. So I'm really honored to have this conversation with you. But to get it started, would you explain to us a little bit, what is your main area of concentration in your civil engineering work?
Yeah, well, my major field is geotechnical engineering. Of course, it is a field here in Nigeria. We study it as a civil engineering at undergraduate. It's from the masters that we normally specialize, and I specialize in geotechnical engineering, which is engineering of soil and soil structures. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then how do you, when you do that kind of study, what are you supposed to do? Try to understand the soil, you understand, then what? What do you do with it?
Yes. Geotechnical engineering is engineering of soil, that is the studying of soil in relation to the structures we build on them, and the study of the structures, the interaction of the structures we build on those soils. So in geotechnical engineering, what we do is we study the properties of the soil to know their condition, their capability in withstanding the load we intend to put on them, like the structural loads, the highway, dams, and so on. So before you build, we build all this on soils, and you cannot just put those structures on the soil anyhow, because the soil as you see them are of different types, and you need to determine what kind of soil they are, what are the bearing capacity, how much load can they bear, at what depth, before you put those structures on them. And that is what we do as geotechnical engineers.
Now, when you say soil out of different type, I don't know if you want to expatiate a little bit, looking at, of course, the particularity of the Nigerian soil. Looking at the topography of the Nigerian land, and does it help us to build infrastructure that we want to build? Say anything in those areas?
Yes. When we say soils, from engineering perspective, of course, is different from those of agricultural scientists. Agricultural scientists, when they say soil, when they say types of soils, what they look at are the nutrients and how much productive they could be with respect to agricultural plants. But in engineering, when we say types of soil, we are referring to their strength, engineering properties, majorly strengths and strength, workability, the classification with respect to their engineering application. So in this respect, we classify soils into majorly 4 categories. Apart from rock, of course, we have rock. We normally treat rock as a separate entity. So when you say soil, we have the gravels, which are, in terms of soil, the gravels are the biggest in terms of particle sizes. Then after the gravels, we have the sand. Sand are smaller than gravels, but they are also bigger than the 3rd category, which is silts. Silt and clay could be of the same size, but there is their properties that differentiate them. Silts, white clays are associated with mostly with, plasticity. They are plastic. When you mix them with water, you see they are plastic. Silts are not in most cases. So in engineering perspective, we classify soil into these 4 categories. And in Nigeria, of course, the way soil exists from majorly, in engineering, we divide them into 2 major categories. That is the northern part, which is most northern part. The formation are different from those of the southern part. So those of the southern part, the origin of the soils in the southern part are mostly sedimentary, whereas those of the most northern parts are crystalline in nature. I mean, that is their origin. So the crystalline formations are better in terms of bearing capacity. That is why you observe that where you have sedimentary formations in southern part of Nigeria, places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, and so on, the depth at which you put a 2-story building is not the same thing you will put it here in the north. If you have maybe, let's say, 3-story building, you can put it at 1.5 meter here in the north. In the south, you may be going 5-6 meters, depending also it also differ, I mean, from area to area. Even in the south there, you will have some places that are better and you will have some other places that are so bad.
Understanding this, does it in any way relate to what I was sort of alluding to, which is the collapse of building in Nigeria? Because I want to believe that the studying of soil, knowing how the soil is built up, that are reason for it, probably is supposed to help us avoid the catastrophe that usually come at the end of the day. So that is what I'm looking for, a confirmation from you. I mean, is it in any way going to, if you understand it properly and then work on it, is it in any way going to prevent the continuous collapse of buildings in Nigeria? Or is it because it's just normal, houses can collapse anytime?
Yes, understanding the properties of the soils in any site is very paramount and can, of course, help in building collapse. But however, building collapse is not only caused by soil problems. There are several other factors that causes building collapse. You know, if you place your foundation on soil and you place it well, we call it substructure. The superstructure you are going to put on it, that is all the story buildings you are going to put on it, the floors, they are no more having any direct interaction with the soil. It's your foundation that has direct interaction with the soil. If that is well placed, and what follows, what comes up is not well placed, that also can cause building collapse. And we have several building collapse in Nigeria have been traced to superstructure defects.
Okay, now let's look at the statistics that you might have in front of you. Say maybe the recent one that have happened in Lagos, or it can even be in other parts of the country. When the government decide to investigate, what do they really look into to understand what has happened to the collapse of these buildings?
This is a very good question. When there's an incidence of a building collapse, governments through their agencies normally carry out investigation to determine the cause of the collapse. In Nigeria here, the government agency that's in charge of that are 2. The COREN, that is the Council for the Regulation of Engineering Practices in Nigeria, and also the NIBRI, that is Nigerian Institute of Building and Road Research Institute. So these 2 agencies normally are concerned and are the ones that normally take care of the investigation of incidences of a building collapse. So what they normally look at are to confirm, was the collapse due to defects in terms of soil investigation? That is where the geotechnical engineering comes in. Or is it as a result of the materials used in the construction processes? Or is it from the design of the building? That is the structural design of the building. Majorly, these are the three areas that are normally focused on when they are doing investigation of causes of building collapse.